Nondumiso Madlala runs a small brewery in Soweto, a township of Johannesburg. He's been in business for 5 years, but says the lack of jobs and low wages have stunted sales. Like many other businesses, he's hoping a change in the country's leadership will give people more reasons and money to celebrate.
We've seen over the years the sluggish growth in the economy, and that has really affected our sales. And now with Mr. Ramaphosa coming in, we really hope the economy is going to grow fast. And with the economy growing fast, small businesses like ourselves can also grow at a much faster rate.
Within days of taking office, President Cyril Ramaphosa announced a list of reforms to kickstart the economy. He raised value-added tax for the first time in 25 years to help plug the budget deficit. He's launching land reforms that he says won't disrupt food supplies or dispossess people unfairly. And he's promising an accountability drive starting with his own office.
Many South Africans would like to have line of sight of is the lifestyle audit of their public representatives. Now, that is something that I believe we have to do. And this will be done starting with the executive of the country.
Now he's calling in experienced leaders to drive his agenda. Former Finance Minister and previous head of the country's tax collection services, Pravin Gordhan, takes over as Public Enterprises Minister. He's expected to clamp down on corruption in government-run companies, including energy utility Eskom and the national carrier South African Airways. A favorite among investors and business leaders, Nhlanhla Nene returns as Finance Minister. Former union leader Gwede Mantashe will serve as the country's Mineral Resources Minister. His appointment is expected to improve relations between the government and miners. And South Africa's longest-serving minister, Jeff Radebe, is back in cabinet, but this time to head the country's energy ministry.
These changes are intended to ensure that national government is better equipped to continue implementing the mandate of this administration.
Many, if not all, of Ramaphosa's appointees are well known for turning the economy around in previous tenures. And business owners like Madlala believe they can do it again.
We hope that with his experience in running big corporates, we should be able to see the economy respond to that and growing at a much bigger rate than what it is right now.
The incoming finance minister is already hinting at higher taxes, so mending the economy could entail some painful measures for ordinary South Africans. But for millions others like Madlala, the reforms could mean better days ahead. And that's something he can raise a glass to. Mmalegabe Motsepe, TRT World.
Joining me now from London for more on Ramaphosa's cabinet reshuffle is Agnes Gitau. She's a partner at GBS Africa, a boutique investment advisory firm. Agnes, great to have you on Money Talks, as always. Let's start with the markets. They seem to like Ramaphosa's reshuffle, the rand hitting a 3-year high against the dollar. But Ramaphosa says this is going to be a transitional cabinet. So how optimistic are you that this is the cabinet that is going to start the big, long fight against corruption?
I join the rest of South Africans and in being optimistic for the first time for South Africa. As you're aware, it's been such a tough time under President Jacob Zuma. So the response by both the business community, the consumer, it's that of confidence. There is hope, and once Ramaphosa and his cabinet has the confidence of the entire South Africa, I think he's just bound to do well. But we also have to be very careful that to be able to achieve what he promises to, it will not happen in a day. Rome wasn't built in a day. It will take a lot of time and a lot of challenges, and South Africans must be ready to tighten their belt.
OK, let's focus on two key personalities in all of this. Pravin Gordhan, let's start with him. Highly regarded internationally, sacked by Jacob Zuma when he was finance minister, now heading up the Public Enterprises Ministry. Which of the companies in that very important ministry does he need to tackle first? Is it Eskom, the power utility? Is it South African Airways?
So there are a couple of public companies that have really been struggling in the last decade under President Zuma. And of course, as you said, is the Eskom, South African Airways, and also the main broadcaster, SABC. I believe, and there's already some investigation going on, these will be his priority. And in being able to tackle this, somebody who is very well trusted, the business community, adore him, he is probably going to be able to achieve some results. But it's still very early time, Anja. But you're yet to see. But you're right, absolutely right. Pravin Gordhan is somebody who is very highly regarded and a man of his word. I am very confident. If there's one man I can put my money on, it's certainly Mr. Gordhan.
Okay, before we move on, do you think South African Airways and SABC and Eskom need to be privatized?
Not at all. No, absolutely. Privatization isn't a solution for South Africa. And you're aware, African Airways, not only South African Airways, have been struggling, and that is because of the influx of the Gulf airlines into our market. And so privatization, I don't think, it's still very early days, but we're yet to see.
Okay, let's move to the Finance Minister, Klan Nene. He has been seen as being very fiscally prudent. Back in 2014, he drastically cut public spending. Is that what South Africa needs at this point in time, or should he sort of pull in his claws a little bit and be a little bit less hawkish and allow the government to spend a little bit more freely?
They need to, as I said, they need to tighten their belt, and fiscal responsibility, I think, is well renowned for that. And by bringing him back from private sector to a portfolio that he's very familiar with, there is a lot of excitement about this new cabinet, and I'm a little bit worried that there's so much expectation and no opportunity for them to fail. There's so much expectation because South Africa has been struggling for a while. But, it will take a long time. And I think they're aware. You saw with everybody, not everybody, people have accepted the VAT rate rise. And I think it's a good start to what is going to be a very long journey for South African.
Agnes Gitau, GBS Africa in London, thank you very much indeed for your insights.